Hey folks, I'm Priyansh, DevRel with OLake by DataZip, and in this tutorial, we'll see how you can sync or replicate your database data into Apache Iceberg. So for the purpose of this setup, we'll be using MongoDB as our source of data, and we'll be using JDBC catalog, and this will be a local MinIOS setup. So let's get started with the agenda. So the thing that you see on the screen are basically the agenda that we will be discussing in this video. So first of all, we'll set up MongoDB replica set as our data source. We'll dump some sample data, then we'll set up a config.json file for our MongoDB host, password, database, etc. things. Then we'll set up discover command and see the catalogs, or you can see the streams, collections, and the type of schema that your collection or table has. Then we'll set up a writer.json, which will actually have the configurations that you need to send data into or sync data into Apache Iceberg table format. And then we'll run the sync command to actually get the data from point A to point B, and then we'll add a record and see how upserts work with this table format. So let's jump right into it. For more detailed guide, you can follow our docs. Just go to docs, destinations, Apache Iceberg, and Docker Compose file. The steps that I'll be performing are mentioned in this doc. So let's get started. So for the first step will be to clone the OLake repository. I have already done it in my setup over here. The second thing is to start Docker Compose services, then create a config.json file, create a writer.json file, and then just run the sync process. And then in order to see your data actually getting populated from point A to point B, we'll use Spark SQL. So let's jump right into it. So yep. So this is my MongoDB folder inside drivers. I have created a folder called config, and inside it has the writer files and the config files. When you start, you won't be actually having any of this. Just let me delete this for now. Just let me delete state, stats, and yeah. So just go and create a config.json file. I have already created. This is for MongoDB. So if you want the configurations and what all this field means, just head over to sources, MongoDB, setup replica set. So here you will see two options. I'm sorry, either to use the Dockerized version of OLake or use the local build one. So for the purpose of this video, we'll be using local setup, and just copy the compose file over here. Make this file if you already don't have, and paste all those contents over here. So what it actually does, it starts a primary server, makes a replica set, then adds a sample Reddit data into it, and there you go. We have our sample data in a replica set for you to sync and see how actually the Apache Iceberg works, or how it stores the data. So I'll just copy the local build one, head over it, and just replace all the contents over here. Great. And then just copy the config.json. It's already provided. Yeah, the configurations. If you want to know more what all these fields mean and what all values you can have, you can always go to configs, and you'll see the fields description, example values, and data type over there. So getting back to it, local build one, we have our catalog.json ready. We'll be using localhost 27017 port, password is password, username is admin, or db secondary preferred, srv is false. We're using max thread as let's make it 20 for now. The default mode will be cdc, and back of retry count will be 2. Great. Now let me just go back to our Apache Iceberg writer. Here it is, Docker Compose. Great. Now we have our config.json ready from MongoDB. Now we'll need to write writer.json file. So OLake currently supports writing to your local file system, writing to S3, and writing to Apache Iceberg. So these all configurations over here are basically for the JDBC catalog endpoint. For local, you just need to have local path and normalization enabled, and this is how you sync data to S3. So I cannot open it right now because it has my access keys and secret keys as well. So yeah, before I dive into the actual demo of how you can sync the data, these are the prerequisites. You need to have Java 17 at least. You need to have Docker and Docker Compose. That's straightforward. And you also need to have the Maven installed in your system. So let me go ahead and start my Docker desktop real quick. Great, that was quite fast. And let me start my Docker Compose for the MongoDB data, because that's the database we'll be using. So let me go ahead and go into command.txt file. I've already written a bunch of commands over here, so I don't need to make ones. So just let me run this Docker Compose command. It will just create a container with MongoDB and add some sample data to it. Let me go back to my warp terminal, just clear all of this stuff, clear this stuff as well, and yeah, remove myself. Great, so it's running. It will take a few seconds to get it up and running. You can see all the containers are getting started, and that's great. The next step we're gonna do is the local Minio and JDBC catalog setup. So it says the same thing. You need to clone the device. You need to clone the Git repository of OLake and do Docker Compose up. So that's it. I'll just go where is that? Iceberg local test Docker Compose file as mentioned. CD into writers iceberg local test. So here's the file. It has a bunch of services like Apache Spark Iceberg, Minio, the Minio client, Postgres, which will be used as a backend for the JDBC catalog. So that's great. I'll head over to my command.txt. I have that command as well with me. Yeah, here it is. So just making a container of our Iceberg writer. Great, so this is all well up and done. If you're running this for the first time, you might see a delay of around 30 to 40 seconds for it to fetch all these images from the internet. Great, now we have all our containers up and ready. You can see the config one and the local test one. This is our MongoDB data, and if I go to sample data loader, yep, unpacking, import complete. Yeah, we have 27 documents successfully imported. That's great. This is the data that will sync to Apache Iceberg format. Let me go back. This is the same writer.config file that we have been using in our setup. So I'll just copy it again for brevity. Remove all of this, add it again. And for more information on the catalog type, the username, password, the endpoints, access keys, and things like that, you can head over to the config file of Apache Iceberg, and you can go to using JDBC catalog with Minio, and you'll see the parameters, sample values, and descriptions of each of those fields. These are pretty much the simple fields, so I think they are self-explanatory. So let me go back, and yeah, we're good to go to do our first command, that is the discover command. So what discover command basically does is gives you a metadata level view of all the fields or all the streams you have, what are the columns in it, the data type of those columns, and more things. I'll just show you and talk less. And let's start the sync process. Yeah, build.sh, driver is MongoDB, discover command, the config is passed, and this is the absolute path of that config, which is present right over here. Great, just let me hit enter. Great, so the nested JSON that you see here is actually the catalog, and now you'll see a catalog.json file automatically getting created. I'll just format it for brevity, and yeah, so it says selected streams. So this is the name of my database, and this is the name of the stream. So inside database Reddit, I have a stream called funny. If you have more streams or collections, you'll see something like funny 2 or maybe funny 3. So it depends on you. It's on you if you want to sync all these streams or just one of those streams, because my database Reddit has just one of the streams, so I'll just sync one of the collection over here. And you can see it has all rewarding as an array, show live comments, this is a column name, and the type is boolean, and more details about all the types of columns that I have. That's great. If you want to learn more about the partition regex thing over here, you can just go to AWS S3, data partitioning, and you'll see a detailed guide on what these fields mean, how you can partition your data by name, by column value or default value, or by date, year, time as well. So let us go back to the main agenda of this video. So till now we have covered up to step 3. We have run this discover command. We have also set up our writer.json as Apache Iceberg at JDBC catalog. Great. Now we need to run the sync command and replicate data to our destination. So let's head back. I'll just open my master command list, and yeah, this should be the sync command. So basically what we are doing here is the name of the command is sync. We are passing the config and the absolute value of the config file. Then we are also passing the catalog's absolute path and giving it a destination path as well. In this case, it will be writer jdbc.json. So this one over here. So with that being done, let's run the sync command. So let me just copy the command, go back to my terminal. Okay, where is it? Yeah, right here. Press enter. Great. So the syncing process is currently in progress, and yeah, I can see some chunks in the logs, some message. Great. So total records read is 27. Now let's see for ourselves where these records are being populated. So you can just go back to Docker Compose setup. Yeah, we are done. This is done. This is also done. We run the sync command. We'll yet to run the sync with state command, but before that, let's verify the data has been populated or not. So I'll just docker exec docker exec into one of the containers. So let me show you which container I mean. Docker ps. So this one, the Spark Iceberg one, this one. So let's just do it real quick. Okay, not this one. Let me copy the command, go back to my terminal. Great. So now we are inside it. Just Spark SQL. It will take a couple of seconds to load, and then we will see our data in the terminal. So before that, we can just verify if we have our databases ready or not. And yeah, it could not bind on port 4040. It might be occupied, so it's attempting to do it on 4041. Great. So we now have Spark SQL up and running. So just let me show if the database is present. Show databases, and yeah, OLake Iceberg, it's present. Now let's head back to the docs and show tables if our table is present or not. So let me just copy that command. Great. So yeah, we have funny collection and OLake test table. So our data is actually inside funny. So let me run or select star from that collection to show you the data, and we'll change the table name to funny. Great. We'll wait for 1 minute, and yeah, this is actually the JSON data which you can see on the screen. But let me show you a better way to visualize this. So if you go to your browser, let me just close this for a while. Great. And let me open up localhost 888 because this is actually the Spark notebook that we have up and running. So let me create a new notebook, and we'll select Python 3 as the kernel, and have some SQL format, and I'll write the same query here. Okay, not this one, this. Go back here, copy it, and change the table name to funny, and run this cell. We have the data over here, those 27 records that we synced, a better formatted one. So let me go over here. So that OP column over here actually means that, let me show you, it's all in the docs, that the OP column values have R, C, and U. That stands for R will be for read or backfill, C for create, and U for update. So what these all means, let me show you. So if you add a new record, it will be categorized as C. and if you update that record, it will be categorized as you. So that's how upserts work in Apache Iceberg table format. So I'll just demonstrate what I actually mean by these. So let me go back and insert a new record. So for doing that, let's just insert one of these records. I insert one, I'll just add title hello MongoDB 2. Description will be just a test record. So I'll go back, but before that I need to connect to our MongoDB. So docker ps docker exec, yeah, and where is our MongoDB container ID? It's here, bin bash. So we are actually inside it. Now let's connect to the MongoDB mongo CLI. Yeah, it's a standard string that you can use to connect. Here let me do show dbs. Yeah, we have our local database. Okay, first of all use Reddit. Great, switch to db Reddit. Now show collections, we are getting funny as our collection. Great, so now we'll insert a new record over there. So just copy the command, I'll head over to here, paste it, hit enter, and you'll see yes, acknowledge true, we inserted an ID. Now let me again make the sync. So let me just go back and sync it again, but this time we'll sync it using the state, because state actually stores the last let me show you in the formatted document way. Yeah, so this data field under here contains the cursor to which the last record that was synced. So let's suppose you have 25 records. Now you synced additional records, so that makes the total record count 26, but you don't have to always sync the entire data or rows here. This stores the value of the last updated record, and any new inserts will be handled independently. So this is how CDC works in general. So that's being said, you can also see the stats, by the way, and let me show you what it means like. So if you have a longer thing, because we just had 27 records, it was this blazingly fast, but suppose you have terabytes of data, you'll see the actual remaining time over here, the amount of memory, the threads running, the speed, etc, etc. This should be approximately like 27,000 millions or rows, but for this demo I'm just using a sample record size. Great. So this RPS also, the rows per second or records per second thing, will be much higher than this in like millions basically. So that's the stats.json file. The state file contains the cursor, and now we'll write, or now we'll sync with state. So the command for that is exactly the same, but will also pass the state file as well with the state flag. So I'll just copy it from here. Okay, not this one, but the build one, because we're actually building OLake and doing the local setup with Minio and JDBC catalog. Let me go back to my WAP terminal, delete it here, and everything looks fine. Writer is JDBC, state, and yeah, we're good to go. Now let's hit set and enter. We'll wait for the process to finish, and yep. Great, so it says total records read is equal to 1. That's because we just inserted one of the records. So now just let me go back and go to our notebook and just run this file again. And yep, let me go back. You'll see R, and let's find for the new record that we just inserted. So where will it be? Or basically, let me do one thing. I'll modify the SQL order by __op, and yeah, this will give us much better results because our newly updated record will be at the top, right? So this is just a test record to hello world, hello MongoDB 2. So you'll see C stands for create. Now that we have created a record and inserted it, it will be shown as a C. Now let's change the record, or maybe add a new line, or maybe change the title of it. So I'll just head back to my command.txt, and yeah, db.funny update 1, and we'll just use the object ID of this row, paste it over here. Okay, it's a wrong paste. 8989, that's right. Hello MongoDB, let's make it 4. Great. Any small change will be append or sorry, insert for it. Let me go back to war terminal and make this thing work. Yep, we're good to go. Yeah, modified count 1, acknowledge true. Now let's again hit the sync with state thing. Now you'll see our records are being changed, and that --op value changes to you because we just upserted or made a modification to an existing record. So that's how it's being identified in the Apache Iceberg table format, and that's how bulk updates or bulk modifications are. Let's wait for the process to finish. Well, great. Total records read is equal to 1, sent batch to Iceberg server 1, and some more logs. I'll just go back again and yeah, run this query again. We'll wait for 2 seconds. The lag you see maybe is because of my device getting overloaded right now, but it's really pretty fast at this point, so it's great. I'll just go back at the bottom because R takes precedence over U. So now, yeah, we changed hello world, hello MongoDB to 4, and you'll see U over here. And as I said before, U actually stands for the update thing. So yeah, that's how Iceberg or OLake version or OLake implementation of Apache Iceberg table format handles upserts. So I guess that's all from my side today for this video. I'll be coming with next videos to showing about the other REST API, REST catalogs that we support, mainly the Polaris one. So just head over to the roadmap section over here, and you can see we are supporting Glue catalog. Hive Metastore is kindly supported, but we are yet to test it out. JDBC is supported, and for all the REST catalogs, it's upcoming in a few weeks maybe, and you'll see more videos on going to the OLake YouTube channel, where this video along with all other videos will be uploaded. So if you feel any issues with the setup or you want any help with managing OLake or connecting any source to a destination, just comment down below and I'll be jumping in to help you out for that thing. So that's all from my side. I'm Priyansh. See you in the next one.